Tonight on the Northwestern News Report, it's like the Batmobile, but better. Joey Safchik takes us inside the Produce-mobile, Evanston's innovative event for fighting hunger.
And Salon Perfect, how one group is hoping to have everyone in our community looking their best, one hairdo at a time.
Plus, extra, WAMU brought their show to a younger audience, how Northwestern students are inspiring the next generation of performers, one song at a time.
Those stories and more tonight on Northwestern News Report.
It's your news right now.
Good evening and welcome to the Northwestern News Report. I'm Rupa Pala.
And I'm Megan Leibowitz. Tonight, people in Evanston might be sitting down to a fresh, healthy meal, thanks in part to the Produce-mobile. Joey Safchik was there this morning as the food was handed out for free to people in need.
That's right, Megan. Now, as you can see right behind me, the Produce-mobile is here in Evanston today. It's bringing fresh and free fruits and veggies to the low-income residents of Cook County. The Produce-mobile is making a stop in Evanston. On the second Tuesday of every month, the Robert Crown Community Center is transformed into a giving grocery shop. More than 200 people arrive with empty wagons, carts, and cardboard boxes.
And they represent, around approximately 1,000 people in their household who are being fed by this fresh produce.
They leave with pounds of fresh produce, everything from ripe apples to giant watermelons.
I think it's an amazing thing. I mean, that we give away tons and tons of food to hundreds of families.
According to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, fruit prices could rise between 2 and 3% in 2019, and veggies could increase even more.
The government isn't providing enough money to feed all these people, and I think a lot of us living in Evanston want to keep a diverse population.
When you add up all the produce a family needs to meet the recommended 5 to 9 servings of fruits and vegetables a day, that can be a lot of money.
I think we have the responsibility, if we are people that have things, we need to be able to share that with people who are less fortunate.
The truck is for all low-income Cook County residents. No ID is required. Volunteers say they often work with refugee communities.
Impressive to see the people and who plan so well and so hard to make things work for their families.
According to the latest data from the U.S. Census Bureau, Evanston has a poverty rate of 13.3%. For some, the Produce-mobile makes a big difference.
They hug us, and that people show great gratitude. People are very, very grateful, and we try to treat them with dignity and with respect.
The Produce-mobile will be back at this location on the second Tuesday of June, and organizers tell me that they're always looking for new volunteers, especially from Northwestern, to help provide produce to a population in need. Joey Safchik, Northwestern News Network.
The Produce-mobile can be found at a second temporary Evanston location at the Fleetwood Jourdain Community Center on the fourth Thursday of May and June.
The first ever NU Black Hair Expo took place over the weekend. The event connected students with representatives from nearby salons that specifically cater to black hair. Students also got to try some product samples from natural hair businesses. The expo was organized by the Impact Movement, a Black Christian group on campus. Students say hair care helps them feel confident and comfortable in their own skin, and this event was an important first step.
But there was a lot of stuff that was happening specific to Northwestern as far as the black community not feeling heard, not feeling cared about by administration and that kind of stuff. So the most important thing was that we wanted people to feel loved.
Vera hopes that this expo will be the first of many held at Northwestern.
A man is dead after he was struck and killed on the CTA Red Line tracks. It happened Sunday near the Bryn Mawr stop. Service was delayed Sunday afternoon as first responders handled the situation, though trains were back up and running by Monday morning. The death was ruled as suicide. If you or someone you know is experiencing suicidal thoughts, please call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. Back on campus, the Office of Financial Aid is changing the way it awards money to make summer quarter classes more accessible. The new policy will apply to incoming freshmen. Now, instead of being limited to only 12 quarters of financial aid, students will be given funds on a yearly basis. Officials hope this change will allow students to take more time-consuming academic programs without worrying about finishing in only 12 quarters.
5 new people will join the Medill Hall of Achievement this year. The inductees are Mary Lou Song, an entrepreneur and Medill Cherubs instructor, Don E. Schultz, who helped start Medill's IMC program, Brett A. Pulley, the former dean of the Scripps Howard School of Journalism and Communications, Matt Murray, the editor-in-chief of the Wall Street Journal, and Dr. Donna Leff, the longest-serving full-time member of Medill faculty. All 5 inductees will be recognized at a ceremony this Thursday in the MFC Forum. The Hall of Achievement tradition was started in 1997.
Medill's 2019 undergraduate convocation speaker will be NNN alum and NBC White House correspondent Peter Alexander. Alexander is the co-anchor of Weekend Today and NBC's White House correspondent. His reporting has earned him an Edward R. Murrow Award and is the namesake of the Peter Alexander Medill Cherub Scholarship. Convocation will be June 22nd.
Good news, ride-sharing app Via is expanding into Evanston. The app has a $3 flat rate for shared rides within Evanston. The app's website says they aim to streamline ride-sharing and avoid routes that take passengers on longer detours. Via is also offered in Hermosa, Humboldt Park, and Mayfair. They're also available in New York and Washington, D.C. Lincoln Park Zoo is saying goodbye to its lions, but only for a little while. The zoo is getting ready to begin a $35 million renovation of the lion habitat, which will include a food zip line and an immersive visitor experience. Lincoln Park's 3 lions will move to a zoo in Salina, Kansas. Zoo members will have an opportunity to attend a special event and say goodbye to the lions this Saturday.
A new report out this week says the next big measles outbreak may be in Miami, Los Angeles, or Chicago. Researchers took into account the number of unvaccinated citizens and how possible it is for the disease to access the city. They suggest these high-risk cities focus on increasing vaccination rates and spreading public awareness.
Well, you may have already noticed it's allergy season in Chicago again, and experts say this one may be a rough one. Spring allergens in Chicago include oak, maple, beech, and cottonwood tree pollen. Allergy season is expected to get longer and more intense as global temperatures rise and the window for pollination widens. If you suffer from seasonal allergies, avoid being outside in the early morning when pollen counts are higher and keep windows closed.
A new petition is circulating Facebook asking NU students to, quote, show support for Northwestern University's divestment from fossil fuel companies. The petition asks Northwestern to adopt a plan that would phase out Northwestern's investment in fossil fuels. It is written by 4 members of the campus group, Fossil Free Northwestern. The proposal is expected to be given to Northwestern's Advisory Committee on Investment Responsibility.
It was just Mother's Day, so for this week's Money Minute, we took a look at exactly how much Americans spend on their moms. NNN's Charlie Rode has more.
Americans pay respect to our founding fathers in July, but in May, it's all about our mothers. So much that the National Retail Foundation, or NRF, estimates Mother's Day spending will total a record over $25 billion in 2019, almost a $2 billion increase from last year. The NRF reports Americans spent the most on jewelry at around $5.2 billion, although only 35% of buyers purchased jewelry, averaging purchases of around $40 per person. However, 75% of those celebrating bought greeting cards, which totaled around $843 million in sales, which breaks down to about $6.64 per person. While 86% of consumers were expected to celebrate Mother's Day, in line with last year's results, NRF estimates those who celebrated spent $196 on average. This is also an increase compared to $180 in 2018. Interestingly, while gift methods such as greeting cards and special outings are becoming more popular, jewelry sales are increasing too. And the increases in jewelry sales account for 31% of the total revenue increase from last year's estimates. So if you're part of the estimated 86% of those who celebrated Mother's Day this year by purchasing a gift, we hope your money was well spent. I'm Charlie Rode, and this has been your Mother's Day Money Minute.
Coming up, kids take center stage at a special WAMU event.
And we see how our staff feels about the Dillo Day lineup.
Don't forget your umbrella. I'll tell you more about the rainy week in store after the break.
At Northwestern, we're Wildcats in every way. right through that. With our colors flying, we will cheer you all to go. Go you Northwestern, fight for victory, sweet victory, spread for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
At Northwestern University, we are pioneering innovation and achieving excellence across every imaginable discipline. At Northwestern University, the possibilities are endless.
On Saturday, the curtain went up on WeMu, a special program giving kids a behind-the-scenes look at how the WaMu show comes together. I had the chance to go check it out. Places for the top of WeMu. This weekend, WeMu makes the news. This special event breaks down the elements that go into creating the WaMu show. The kids were introduced to how the set, lights, costumes, and choreography come together to create an original musical.
I do want them to get a sense of the parts of theater that make it theater and that it's something that they can be a part of.
This year's show, For the Record, follows a journalist embarking on a project to make sure groundbreaking women are not forgotten in history. For Lynn Kelso, artistic mentor for Imagine You, a Northwestern children's theater program, watching the actors is only part of the fun.
When you watch them, when you watch the kids sitting on the edge of their seat, and then just unadulterated joy when they see, well, the sword fighting today was just like watching some of the children. Oh, the excitement.
WeMu teaches kids about what goes into creating a show. It also gives the young audience a chance to interact directly with the performers.
I love watching the children react, but I love watching the cast give to the children.
A tap dancing lesson, a Q&A, and instruments galore. And for the record, the kids had a pretty good time.
Creativity is really good, and if you use your imagination, you can think up anything.
WeMu, inspiring young audiences in performance and beyond. Megan Leibowitz, Northwestern News Network.
Great story, Megan. Spring quarter doesn't just mean WaMu, it's also time for this year's freshman musical. The freshman musical is an annual tradition. The entire cast, crew, and band are fully staged our first years. This year's show is Legally Blonde. Past shows included Camp Rock and High School Musical. To see the show, bend and snap over to Harris Hall this Friday and Saturday.
The Artist in Residency program at the Garage will be hosting its first ever artist showcase and pop-up this Friday. The showcase will feature exhibitions of artwork and musical performances from NU students involved in the program. CESP sophomore Olivia Hernandez started the Artist in Residency program earlier this year in an effort to bring more artistically minded people into the Garage space, which she says is currently dominated by engineers. The pop-up showcase will start at 6 p.m. on Friday.
Refresh Dance Crew will be hosting its 5th annual spring show this weekend. The performance, called Pantheon, will feature more than 80 dancers, including NNN's own director, Esther Wells, and producer, Sian Shin. The show features dance styles like breaking, popping, and modern hip-hop. The theme Pantheon evokes the League of Greek and Roman gods and represents the welcoming of a new generation. You can see Pantheon this Friday and Saturday in Ryan Auditorium.
Mayfest's Battle of the DJs took over the Lakeville last week. 6 NU DJs competed at the event for a spot in Dillo Day's lineup. This year's winner, Luminosity. She'll take the main stage at Dillo on June 1st. You can get your wristband online at the Norris box office. If your friends from home are visiting for the concert, there are still some guest wristbands up for grabs. Snatch them up quickly before they sell out.
We know this year's headliner A$AP Ferg, and now we know who the student DJ will be, but we're still missing a few names from the lineup.
We wanted to know who else you'd like to see for Dillo, so we asked our staff in this week's special edition of Rock Talk.
Last week for Rock Talk, we went inside the studio, and today we are going behind the scenes to talk to our staff about who they want to see for Dillo.
Rock Talk.
Who do you want to see for Dillo this year?
You know, I don't really have the typical college student music taste, so I'd really like to see the Tony Award nominated cast of Broadway's Hadestown at Dillo Day.
That is really something. Wow.
Well, you know I love pop music.
Oh yeah, that's how I am. Top hits.
So I would love to see a collaboration between Blue Man Group and Death Grips. I think MC Ride's ecstatic, screaming raps over industrial beats combined with the absolute abstract, like meta art deco of the Blue Man Group and the colors and the interactive experience of the Blue Man Group would create a truly one-of-a-kind experience for Dillo Day.
It's really something, everyone.
I think we should have a repeat of 2014 or whatever that year it was when we had Kendrick Lamar.
We just ordered those, but don't you worry, they are empty. We don't ever have drinks in the studio.
My ideal Dillo artist would actually be the cast of Glee. I saw them in concert twice when I was in grade school, and it really changed my life.
We are now going into the edit base to talk to more. There's a little secret code. Backstage pass. Virginia!
Hello!
Who would you like to see for Dillo Day?
I think it would be fun for Lizzo to come for Dillo Day. I don't think she would come if she weren't a headliner though, so that's probably not gonna happen.
That's a shame.
Needs more Chicago rappers.
No matter what like modern rap artists they bring, like what A$AP Ferg, Low, when Flo
A$AP
Rida
Ferg.
drops Low, it would be 100 times better. It would be wild.
Rock Talk.
Love that. Rupa, what is your favorite type of music?
It has to be rap music. What about you?
To be honest, I'm kind of a musical theater girl, but
Yeah.
I'm really excited to branch out and see other types of genres of music at Dillo.
All right, well, we'll wait for that. If you have an idea for a future Rock Talk topic, tweet us at @NNN_news.
Now let's send it over to Tiffany in the studio for a look at this week's weather. Tiffany?
Thanks, guys. I hope you had the chance to go outside and enjoy the sunshine today. It was a nice break from this weekend. Still, some NNNers were able to get out and enjoy the outdoors this weekend. Here's this week's producer, Virginia, enjoying a croissant at the Evanston Farmers Market over the weekend. It was a little rainy, but not too bad. And here's our news director, Joey, and executive producer, Meredith, being goofy and enjoying the beautiful flowers in bloom around campus. There are only a few weeks each year we can really appreciate the beauty this town has to offer. You can see we're really making the most of it here at NNN. Here's a look from the Rock Cam this evening. As you can see, it's a beautiful golden hour. The sun will set at about 8:30 tonight, so enjoy the beautiful sunset while you can. Now let's take a look at this week's weather. Tomorrow will be sunny like today with a high of 67 and a low of 50. But have your umbrella on hand because scattered thunderstorms are coming your way on Thursday, when the temperatures will be the highest of this week, with a high of 75 and a low of 53. Friday will be cloudy with slightly chillier temperatures, a high of 57 and a low of 48. Saturday will be dark and cloudy with temperatures staying in the 50s, with a high of 54 and a low of 52. Thunderstorms will be rolling in again on Sunday, but temperatures will be slightly warmer with a high of 68 and a low of 56. It is mid-May and consistently sunny days are still nowhere in sight here in Evanston, but at least temperatures are slowly rising, giving us all an excuse to bring out the shorts and sandals in preparation for summer. I'm Tiffany Shu, and this has been your 5-day weather forecast.
Thanks, Tiffany. Up next, women's softball is on the rise this week. See how the Cats are doing on the diamond.
At Northwestern, we're Wildcats in every way.
Northwestern. Go Northwestern break right through that. With our colors flying, we will cheer you all to go. Go you Northwestern, fight for victory, sweet victory, spread for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
At Northwestern University, we are pioneering innovation and achieving excellence across every imaginable discipline. At Northwestern University, the possibilities are endless.
We're back with a sports update from NNN Sports' Jack Leto. Jack, what are the Cats up to this week?
Thanks, Rupa. Northwestern Lacrosse is one game away from their first Final Four appearance since 2014. The Cats took on Notre Dame on Sunday at Martin Stadium. They beat the Fighting Irish 13-10 behind a 5-goal performance from Salina Lasota. They advanced to the national quarterfinals where they'll play the Syracuse Orange at 1 o'clock on Saturday at Martin Stadium. The Orange won an overtime thriller against the Cats back in February in the Carrier Dome, and Northwestern will be looking for revenge. Next up, Northwestern softball will also be hosting an NCAA tournament regional this weekend. They were given the number 16 overall seed and will host Detroit Mercy, Louisville, and Southern Illinois in the first softball regional in Evanston since 2008. Should the Cats advance, they'll play the winner of the Norman, Oklahoma regional, hosted by the number 1 overall seed Oklahoma Sooners. Northwestern is set to play Detroit Mercy on Friday at 3:30 at Sharon J. Drysdale Field. And finally, new research suggests water polo, a sport with growing popularity in Illinois, carries a risk for concussions that may not be getting enough attention. The research, led by University of California Irvine professor James Hicks, found that a game of water polo averaged 18 total head hits. Offensive centers took an average of 7 individual head hits per game, the most of any position. USA Water Polo has recently introduced concussion protocols, and some coaches are looking into specialized caps and training techniques to reduce concussions on their team.
Thanks for that important story, Jack. It's so exciting that lacrosse and softball are doing well. Are you planning on going to any of the games?
I hope so. I'm not sure, but I know that they're going to be great games, and go Cats.
Yeah, can't wait to see what happens next. After the break, Justin Sweetwood takes us to a pretty perfect new cafe.
At Northwestern, we're Wildcats in every way.
Go Northwestern break right through that. With our colors flying, we will cheer you all to go. Go you Northwestern, fight for victory, sweet victory, spread for the fame of our fair name, and go Northwestern, win that game. Go Cats!
At Northwestern University, we are pioneering innovation and achieving excellence across every imaginable discipline. At Northwestern University, the possibilities possibilities are endless.
Chicago's newest cat cafe has a sweet charitable twist. NNN's Justin Sweetwood has more.
A new cafe is open in West Rogers Park, but this one with a different breed of regulars, to say the least. These cats are cared for by the Treehouse Humane Society, and you can now grab a latte while you sit down and meet some new friends.
And it's not just the concept that will melt your heart. These little guys are suffering from feline leukemia, but still have a lot of life left to live and have many years ahead of them. The proceeds here go to supporting FELV positive cats while also trying to link them with a potential family.
Once diagnosed with the feline leukemia virus, cats have about 2 to 4 years to live. Historically, not many shelters take in cats with this condition, but Treehouse welcomes them.
We wanted to give these cats a spotlight. They're still highly adoptable. They're still highly friendly and sociable. They just require a special person to go home to.
And one of those special people has already been found. Just last week, someone took home 8-month-old Dahlia, the first to be adopted from the Cat Cafe. But Treehouse isn't stopping there. The shelter hopes the heartwarming and interactive experience will bring more people through the front door. It's what brought Erica Mulvena and her daughter into the cafe.
It's specifically helping these cats that need help, that have, a little bit of a special condition. In the Cat Cafe, you need to come play with cats.
And the cats are also excited to see you. Sometimes a little too excited.
These are like really energetic cats. They are super friendly, they love to play, they love to hang out, get people face to face with it, and they're gonna realize that it's actually not as scary as they originally thought.
Justin Sweetwood, Northwestern News Network.
If you want to visit the Cat Cafe, it's $10 for a latte and you get to spend 30 minutes playing with cats. Now, Megan, have you ever been to a cat cafe?
I haven't, but it sounds like a really nice, worthwhile organization, so I would love to go. Have you ever been?
I have not, but after hearing the story, I think it's something we both definitely need to check out.
Definitely.
That's all the time we have for tonight. I'm Rick Papala.
And I'm Megan Leibowitz. For all of us here at NNN, good night, and thanks for watching.